Oh, that last one was too long. Hi, it's Nancy today. My hair is nice and bushy. You know, somebody thinned my hair, and it took it this long, I think, to grow out, and now it's bushy again. That's me with bushy hair. I like that. Okay, so where are we sitting? Over there. We're by the campfire. So from time to time, there will be a little smoke. Don't let it worry you. I won't let you get burned. So how about right there? There. Okay. We're good. My head is still not in it. I guess I'm a lot higher than I think when I'm in this chair. Okay. There we go. How's that? Oh, look at that. I have this little round ball on my body, which is my head. So I was out there working in the garden for a while. But I hadn't started bending my back, and my back was really stiff, so I couldn't really do much, even the regular lifting the fork and, twisting it. It's rude to put my foot towards you, I guess. I didn't remember that. It depends who you ask. All these rules about things, silly things like that. I'm going to be offended if you hold your head in a certain way. Well, it works with eyes and looks, I'm going to be offended if you look at me that way. Being offended is so silly. But sometimes, if you've got a side and you want to say your side, I think then there's a lot of emotion attached. If you're just, and I think that may be what being offended is. But if you don't want to say anything about it, if you just acknowledge that it is what it is, you don't have any emotions attached to it, you can let go of it and it doesn't matter. But it's when you attach emotions to thoughts. And that happens when there's a disagreement about a subject. When two sides don't see it the same way. And they want to tell the other person their side. If they don't want to tell the other person their side, or tell anybody their side, then it's okay, it doesn't matter. So when you want to tell your side, and when you have something to say about the matter, then you get angry. And then it holds on inside you. It's really hard to let go of those. Those will become unresolved confrontations. And unresolved confrontations, those get stuffed in your garbage bag, Unresolved confrontations, those are what mess you up. They really mess you up because, well, when you have emotion about something and it's in that sort of conflict thing, it's usually a negative emotion. If it's a positive emotion, like you're so happy, there's no conflict, right? So when there's a conflict, so it always results in a negative feeling if it's conflict. And when you have that negative, that darkness sort of comes over you, and it's hard to shake it. Unless you vent. Well, maybe that doesn't even fix it, but it will do a lot. If you vent, whether on paper and then burn it, but as long as you vent, then you're coming to grips with it. You're acknowledging this anger you're feeling and why you're feeling it and what the other person should have known. And there's sometimes as a bit of a put down involved. Now, if the other person is putting you down and you have the facts and you want to tell them the facts, that kind of being offended is but if you just see it for what it is this person is making attacks, then you can be unattached. But when you're really familiar with a person and they say something like an attack, it comes off more true because they know you well, therefore this must be true. And then it's hard to listen to those things and say, really? I'm like that? It's a lot easier to say, I'm not listening to this, or leave me alone. To actually listen to it, say, and repeat it back so that you understand it, so you're on the same wavelength. Even repeating it back, sometimes it's amazing how different the words are you say and the meaning you send with it and what's received. Because things can be perceived as attacks. And then the defenses come up and the justification or the attack, you know, when they perceive offense. It's easy to perceive offense if you're in that headspace. I call that stinking thinking. I think that's what AA calls it, stinking thinking. And Al-Anon and all those programs. OA was my weakness of choice. It was nicer to the people around me to eat when I had things I really wanted to say. They didn't know and they stayed happy, and I resolved it by, you know, it's interesting. One time I was writing my journal, I had all this stuff to say. It's all important feeling stuff. Really feeling stuff. How important is feeling stuff? Anyway, I was about to write it down, but I had a little bowl of raisins of peanuts, and so I took a bite. And while I chewed it, I started to type. There was nothing to say. Nothing to say. I could talk about other things, but I had no bad feelings about all that anymore. So, eating your feelings, if you have a lot of feelings, you don't dare let your feelings out of the bag. If they're too negative and they could ruin relationships, you don't dare let them out of the bag. And so you eat and the feelings go away. It's a miracle, isn't it? You drink, you do drugs, you run. There are all kinds of things that we do which take away all those feelings. Go for a brisk walk in nature. Down a snowmobile trail. Those are the best walks. I haven't done that in a long, long time. But now I have my hips back. My back is still not great. But if I use canes or poles, walking poles, I can do it. And so I take my canes with me, and then when I'm in the woods in a pretty place where there are no bugs, I can walk with my canes. I don't like walking with my poles. I don't like walking with them on asphalt. Because the asphalt, it ticks, it tick, 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 and it vibrates, and I don't want to feel that throughout me. Nature is so awesome. Are you familiar with nature? Totally awesome. I guess I should turn this off because it's going to be too long, and then I have to break it and divide it through upward, It's always a little bit of... Thanks for coming to tea, though. This has been really nice. Bye-bye.